Well, welcome. I'm Chip Pickering. I'm the CEO of INCOMPAS, the Internet and Competitive Network Association, and we're very pleased and proud to have both Amazon as a member company, but today Darren Acord, who is the head of public policy for Project Kuiper, Amazon's low Earth orbit satellite broadband project. He leads Kuiper's global advocacy and public policy, the engagement, as well as Amazon's communication policy team. Darren has supported Project Kuiper since its inception and helped secure, and this was a big deal, Darren, the license this year in July 2020. So congratulations. And since joining Amazon in 2016, Darren has led the communications policy, representing the company on Capitol Hill and at the FCC. Prior to Amazon, Darren served over 9 years on Capitol Hill. He served as senior policy advisor for technology and communications for the majority whip at that time, now minority whip, Steve Scalise from Louisiana. He also worked with Senator Marco Rubio. Now, Darren is a good Louisianian. I don't know if we could say Cajun, but he's from Louisiana, went to the University of Alabama, and then did a master's at LSU at Louisiana State University. We're both advocates of the SEC. And so I'm very glad to have you join us and to talk about something that's, I think, extremely exciting that maybe a lot of people outside of Washington aren't familiar with, and that's Project Kuiper. Tell us a little bit about it and how that can help solve some of the broadband problems and challenges that we have as far as providing connectivity to all Americans, every place, everywhere, and really try to bring in a new entrant from a technology and a platform so that we have greater competition. And that's something INCOMPAS is very supportive and proud to do. So Darren, tell us a little bit about Project Kuiper.
Sure. First, thank you, Chip, for having me, for all the work you do and INCOMPAS do on behalf of Amazon and our customers. You know, it's always great to work with you, and very happy to be here today to talk about Kuiper. And hopefully educate the audience here a little bit just about our project and about how excited we are about it. And as you said, it's an initiative to increase global broadband connectivity through a low Earth orbit constellation of 3,236 satellites. The system will deliver high-speed, low-latency broadband connectivity to unserved and underserved customers around the world. And we will deliver service to individual customers in their homes, as well as to their businesses, schools, hospitals, et cetera, other organizations in locations without reliable broadband. It is truly a service that is dedicated to the hardest to reach, and that's who we plan on connecting. We all know there's need for greater connectivity. I certainly don't need to tell this organization or this audience, and it's become more apparent over the past year that systems like Kuiper, that services are needed to deliver those who are in obvious need of greater bandwidth and greater connectivity. It's an acute need that needs solving, and that's what motivates us. Our energy comes from innovating on behalf of our customers. And there are billions of people around the world who lack that connectivity. And this is a goal at the highest level of our company. Jeff has said that broadband access is close to being a fundamental human need. And this is an area where we as a company have the resources, we have the human capability, as well as our commitment and history with innovation to really move the needle here and to make a difference. And so with that it's almost incumbent upon us to help try and solve this issue that's an obvious issue in the US, but as well around the world.
Well, as people think about 5G and the densification of fiber on the land and terrestrial deployments, and then our wireless networks, what you're talking about really is the densification of satellites in space. And it really is a critical race to space and to broadband for American leadership, global leadership, economic leadership, as well as coming out of COVID, connectivity. Now there is a national commitment and a bipartisan consensus that every American in every place needs broadband connectivity. Talk a little bit about how the technology works, and what is the latency, and what kind of speeds and capacity do you think with this new technology platform in low Earth could provide to Americans?
Sure, and you said it very well there. Just the ability to have American leadership here. I think the FCC has supported Kuiper and other constellations that are attempting to do this, and I think we all recognize the ability here for U.S. operators to take a leading position in competitiveness, but also in space leadership, and I think that's important to recognize. So, in terms of the technology, we do intend to offer fiber-like speed and latency through the 3,200 plus satellites. They will operate at very low Earth orbits. We'll have 3 orbital shells operating at 590 kilometers, 610 kilometers, and 630 kilometers. And those low orbits really help in terms of latency. That's where a big part of how we're able to meet those fiber-like latency and speed capabilities. The constellation will be deployed in 5 phases and increasing capacity and coverage in each subsequent launch. And we'll provide global coverage between 56 degrees latitude north and south. That covers all of the US as well as all of the southern hemisphere. And in terms of technology on the ground, customers will have a high performance antenna at their home or at their business, or wherever they may be getting that connectivity. Kuiper will also have a network of ground stations connecting to connecting through fiber to pop points into the backbone internet. On the satellite, in terms of technology, Kuiper is designed to be a very advanced and flexible system that can effectively share spectrum. Kuiper will use Ka-band spectrum, but effectively share it with other operators. And we'll also use dynamic antennas and spot beams to dynamically allocate that bandwidth to spots on the Earth. And so, overall, Kuiper will use low orbits, high performance antennas, and high capacity satellites. And that's how we'll meet those, fiber-like speeds and latency. The other component that's a key part of our technology here is the other parts of Amazon. Kuiper will leverage Amazon Web Services, its global infrastructure and its cloud network. We'll also leverage Amazon's global presence. Our ability, we're pretty good at shipping packages around the world. And so when a customer wants to order our service, we'll be able to ship them a terminal. We'll be able to deliver it to them. And we'll also have customer service capabilities in place. And so much focus is on space and on the satellite. Don't get me wrong, it's necessary. That's a key component of the network. But as the VP and the head of our project likes to say, that's only part of it. What's on the ground is even more important to having a global communications network. And Amazon has those components in place that Kuiper will be able to leverage.
I think that's a very good explanation, and that it's equal space and ground, and the combination makes a very compelling convergence of technologies and capabilities. So we mentioned in the introduction that you were able to get the license in July of this year, I believe. Talk to us a little bit about other milestones of deployment and where you hope for the next 2-3 years to see this project develop and each of those benchmarks that you'd like to hit.
Sure. As you mentioned, a big one for us was getting our FCC license in July, and I know some of the commissioners will be speaking, today and tomorrow. We appreciate their support. It was a big milestone. Obviously, we have to have that license to have a business, so that was a big first step. And we only announced the project in April 2019, and we filed July of 2019, and so took a year there to get that license, and we're very proud to get it. And when we got it, we announced as an initial investment that we'll put $10 billion toward Kuiper to hire people to create the infrastructure necessary to have the global communications network and infrastructure that I referenced earlier. That investment will help us build and scale our network and to accelerate our satellite testing and manufacturing. The other milestones that we continue to reach and that are necessary as we scale is the hiring. obviously, to get this project off the ground. Just a handful of people started a couple of years ago at Amazon on this. Now we're into the hundreds. The team tripled in size last year. They'll grow faster than that this year. We'll continue to grow in 2022, 2023 as we get closer to launching satellites. Another milestone for us, there's a couple here where we announced and opened Kuiper's headquarters. It will be located in Redmond, Washington, outside of Seattle. We have two facilities there, over 200,000 square feet, where where employees will be, but also where we'll do testing, where we'll have R&D labs. We'll manufacture the prototype satellites as we prepare the network for deployment. And hoping to open those facilities later in the year and host policymakers and other visitors to where we really can showcase the work that we're doing. And so the hiring, the investment, the facility are some of the internal milestones that we're making progress on. A big one was in December. We announced our customer terminal breakthrough. Our team invented a new Ka-band phased array antenna architecture. And if you'll allow me to get technical just briefly, that's about all I can handle. It's a single aperture phased array antenna that is 3 times smaller and proportionately lighter than existing antenna designs. And this will reduce production costs for us by an equal measure. Will also reduce the price and the size for the customer. And so reducing that size and that weight of the terminal, of the antenna and the terminal, while operating in Ka spectrum, that is higher bandwidth and better performance than other bands. It's a big breakthrough. Our prototype is already delivering speeds of up to 400 megabits per second, and we streamed 4K quality video from a GEO satellite, operating at significantly higher altitude than Kuiper satellites will operate at. And so we expect that performance to continue as we continue to iterate on the terminal. So, it was a big breakthrough for us that we know will help with affordability. That's a key component here, to help with access and to help with adoption and help with deployment of the network. According to our license, the big milestone, we have to have 50% of the constellation deployed in 6 years. So that's 2026 that we'll have 50% up by then. And the terminal is a big factor in enabling us to do that.
Tell me a little bit, I'm trying to get my head around the antenna and the terminal. What is the size? If you could speak to that, we grew up in the South where the big dishes sprouted up 30 years ago. As you go into this new generation of satellite technology, what kind of antenna and the size would that be?
The antenna, when we announced it in December, it's a diameter of 12 inches. And so when you really think about that and fitting it into the terminal, you can imagine a terminal the size of, a laptop, or even, I hate to use the well-used analogy in the telecom space, but the size of a pizza box, so to speak. But it will be more of a flat panel type design, less of a traditional, parabolic satellite dish that you reference. But that antenna size is key, enable us to have a relatively smaller terminal, or one that is easily installable in terms of size and weight. And we want to make this, that's in our DNA as a company. We want to make this process, terminal installation, purchase of it, as easy as possible for the customer.
Well, the innovations across this platform are really remarkable, and it's something I know that the entire team is proud to see develop. I'd like to talk to you about two things. One, how you can complement the existing wireless industry and carriers. Talk a little bit about the role that your network would play in the backhaul as our wireless companies, say a Dish or other companies, as they deploy their 5G. How do you support that?
I think there are partnerships available to be had for Kuiper. I think we can support that deployment in the wireless industry. For example, as you mentioned with backhaul, Project Kuiper will be able to provide backhaul solutions for wireless carriers. We think that will enable them to extend their LTE and 4G, 5G service into new regions and into rural customers. We all know, I think there may be some challenges in extending 5G into rural areas, but we think Kuiper can help solve that. Kuiper will also be valuable for mobility services and applications in rural areas. And so, potential customer segments include transportation, vehicles in rural areas, or fleet transportation, global transportation services, whether through aviation or maritime. So you can imagine the use cases in both transportation or agriculture or even emergency services, and connecting those mobile solutions. And in the hardest to reach areas, it will be able to provide that high quality broadband to mobile customers, and we look forward to, I think, partnering with a lot of the providers and companies out there in order to deliver that service to customers.
And the INCOMPAS membership, we also have a lot of fiber builders that are deploying in all parts of the country, in rural and in urban and suburban. As you deploy your terrestrial ground-based system, would fiber partnerships, would that make sense in this case? As well as the support that you're doing in backhaul for the wireless carriers?
I think so. I think we'll definitely have a need. We'll have gateways around the world with backhaul requirements. Certainly gateways scattered throughout the United States to support our ground network. We'll be looking at opportunities for partnerships to meet those requirements. We'll have gateways in obviously many rural areas, and those gateways will need fiber backhaul capacity across the country. Down the road, as we build our network, as we plan for that and locate our ground stations and look at how we're going to connect them, I certainly think our business teams will be having those conversations, or looking to have those conversations, and working with partners, and including some of the membership.
Well, a couple of years ago, I brought Senator Roger Wicker out to your Amazon headquarters, and one of the subjects that we talked about was workforce training. And Amazon really is not only innovative in the networks it's deploying and all the different services it provides, but you're also an innovator in workforce training. Talk to us a little bit as we look at the need around the country and in our industry for whether it's a fiber or cloud technician, a tower, all of and as we think through the distribution of new ways to deliver products and services. Talk to us a little bit about workforce training that would be applicable to the broadband and technology industry.
Well, first, I think it'll take me a little bit of time to get through this one, because it's such an important component for us, and in this case for our internal customers is how we see it. Amazon believes everybody should have the opportunity to learn new skills and build their career, and we know that some of the fastest growing job areas are increasingly requiring more skills, certainly in the broadband industry and the cloud industry, more technical skills that we want to help train those employees for. And so, we want to create pathways for more skills and working careers that will continue to grow. And, a few examples come to mind. July 2019, we committed to investing over $700 million to train 100,000 employees by 2025. That's our Upskill 2025 commitment. And during our first 12 months of it, more than 15,000 Amazon employees enrolled in one of the company subsidized upskilling initiatives, designed to train them for in-demand jobs, either at Amazon or elsewhere. And AWS, for example, is a key component in that. It's announced just in December, it announced it wants to help train 29 million people to grow their technical skills with cloud computing skills. And to do this, they're going to use internal programs, but also piloting new initiatives designed, to meet a variety of schedules and learning goals. I visited one of our data centers in Oregon with former Chairman Greg Walden, and that was an example there where those facilities in Oregon had partnered with the community college to help train cloud technicians in a rural community in Oregon, get their associate's degree and come work for us at AWS. And so those are the opportunities we try and pursue. Another example, Associate to Tech is a program that provides our fulfillment center associates, like at the facilities we've opened, across the Heartland, across the South, certainly, to try and train our hourly associates and give them skills into more technical roles, regardless of their IT experience. And that's a fully paid 90-day program. Another example for those hourly employees is Career Choice. It's one of our most popular upskilling programs. We're really proud of the enrollment that we've had. Last year, we invested more than $20 million through this program. Underrepresented minorities make up, almost 60% of our total participants. And what Career Choice is, it's an innovative program that prepays 95% of the tuition fees and courses related to in-demand fields beyond Amazon. I think one of the coolest things is we look at the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, their information for the region where our site is located, look at the in-demand jobs in that area, and try and tailor the classes and the training to the needs in that area, not to Amazon's needs, but to what that area needs. We've done things where now we build our fulfillment centers. One of the barriers was employees wanted to take advantage of the program, but they would have to drive to a community college or university. And so we now bring the training on site. We build the fulfillment centers with classrooms in place. We build them with windows, so there's the fishbowl effect, so other associates can pass by, see their employees taking it. We try to meet the associates where they are with those classes. And so, globally, more than 40,000 people have participated in this program, and it's something we're really proud of. I've visited a few sites in Indiana and Ohio, and was at one of our sites in Kentucky with Commissioner Carr, and he heard directly from a couple of our Career Choice employees that are getting trained in, medical technician training, for example, and learning to be EMTs. And so, it's just a good example of us trying to upskill those workers that want to advance their careers. And we feel like we have an important role to play, giving them access to education and training. And it's something that we're really proud of.
Well, as I listen, it amazes me everything that Amazon is doing to build and deploy the digital infrastructure, and then all the applications and services that ride over that to make every American's life more convenient, more productive, more connected, both in workforce training and education, as well as in commerce and in healthcare and in education. So I'm very proud of all the things that Amazon is doing. You now have, I believe, 3 distribution centers, well, 2 in Mississippi, and 1 just announced right outside of my hometown of Jackson, Mississippi, that will employ over 1,000 people, but also be home to one of the most advanced robotics distribution centers. So we're very proud of what Amazon has done to invest in a state like Mississippi. And that's the last question that I have. Amazon and many of our bigger tech companies that are part of INCOMPAS sometimes have the perception that they're on the East or the West Coast, but they're not in the heartland. They're not investing in growing rural communities and towns and cities. Talk to us a little bit about what you're doing in the heartland to really promote economic development and growth in all parts of the country.
Yeah, I think we're unique. I think, certainly we have our headquarters in Seattle, and employees, obviously now a growing headquarters in Virginia as well. But we have hundreds of thousands of people throughout the United States, and certainly growing in areas like Mississippi. I know when I first joined Amazon and we first talked about it, we had nothing in Mississippi. And now here, just in 2 years, we've gone to 2 sites that are opened and opening a 3rd. And like you said, we're making those investments to get services and products closer to our customers, to meet the delivery goals and ensure that we're meeting our customers' expectations and exceeding those expectations. And that includes expansions into rural areas. And like you said, in Mississippi, the 3rd fulfillment center will help us serve Jackson and surrounding areas. And those types of facilities, you can see the videos online. I would just say that they're very innovative, very impressive with the use of robotics technology, and with 1,000 people supporting them. It's a great use case of Amazon using unlicensed spectrum, 2.45 gigahertz, all of the above, to really empower our robots, connect our sites, to really, ensure that we're meeting those delivery milestones. And it's an example. Other examples, as we expand our operations and logistics networks closer to the customers, we're also expanding delivery stations in rural areas, smaller sites to support that last mile. And as we expand those, we look for opportunities to partner with entrepreneurs in the area. And one of those examples is our delivery service program, where you have the ability in that area to launch and operate your own package delivery business, and we'll support you set up that business. And in the U.S., there's more than 1,000 of those small businesses that are partnering with us. You've probably seen a van in your neighborhood delivering a package, and those businesses employ more than 82,000 drivers. And you see more of those vans in places like Mississippi or Louisiana, where I'm from. But it's not just ops and logistics. As we expand, like I said, the digital infrastructure that you said, we'll certainly be looking to train more employees with those technical skills. Obviously, our small business partners are important for us in rural areas. Many folks don't realize that over a majority of the products sold on Amazon are from our small and medium-sized businesses. The ability for us to open up our virtual shelves and allow those small businesses to sell on Amazon and partner with them, that opens them up to hundreds of millions of customers around the globe. And I think I showed Senator Wicker, I showed you that enables the store in Tupelo to sell its cufflinks to all over the world through Amazon. And so it's just an example where we're trying to meet the customer and meet those needs. And whether it's the ability to work at those facilities, sell their goods online, publish a book, develop an Alexa skill, there's a lot of avenues that they can take. And what's enabling all of that is connectivity. Every Amazon customer has to have it. We'll be helping provide it and helping meet the need there. But the common thread there is more connectivity, and the more we can have it in the heartland, the more that Amazon certainly will be creating jobs and investing and helping our customers out in those areas.
Well, Darren, as we close, I'd just like to make an observation. Our leading tech companies and Amazon really are national treasures. And as you talk about, the global network and the global capacity, you're now competing in an international market, a global marketplace. It's not just the local, the regional, or the national. And we're entering into an emerging rivalry with China. And so as policymakers look at how do we deploy the networks, how do we bring more competition, more innovation, and train a workforce so that we can compete globally against China, I just want to commend Amazon for the leadership, the innovation, the investment in all places around the country, states like mine in Mississippi, yours in Louisiana, as well as every other state. And so I'm just, as we come out of the COVID, and one example, y'all begun a pilot project with the University of Mississippi Medical Center to take drones and deliver prescriptions to the rural parts of the Mississippi Delta. Just another innovation of how do you deliver services across the board in a better, more efficient, in a way that really helps people. So thanks for all your time. I'm very excited about Project Kuiper. It's one more great entrant into broadband connectivity and service, and it has multiple benefits to all of us. So Darren, I look forward to the new year working with you, and I appreciate you being on this panel today.
Thank you, Chip, for providing the opportunity, and we look forward to working with you and INCOMPAS members as well as those in the audience to help deploy our network, help deliver this service for customers, and we just thank you for the opportunity.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Darren.